Well, obviously, I'm excited about this opportunity to take over the ULM Warhawks women's basketball program, and of course, I recognize the challenge that lies ahead for us with essentially no starters back from this past season, and of course, the four top scorers and arguably the four best players over the last 2 years graduated in May. So, certainly we understand what's in front of us, as I said, but we've got some young players, I think, that have looked good initially and are certainly eager for their opportunity, and a few of the upperclassmen that admittedly did not play a whole lot maybe the last couple of years, and I think they're excited about the opportunity that they're going to have this year to potentially start or at least maybe get heavy minutes. And so we're certainly a work in progress on both ends of the floor and in a lot of different areas as well, but I really have been encouraged with what we've seen of late.
Thank you, Coach Dow. As a reminder to the media, please press *1 to get in the queue to ask questions. Our first questions come from Joshua Parrott. Josh, please go ahead.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
You mentioned some of the challenges that you'll be facing with the personnel that you lost. At this point, how are things starting to shape up? I don't know if we'll maybe have enough time for you to go completely in depth on all of that, but are there some players that have already kind of emerged, in your opinion, whether they're newcomers or returning players, that have kind of established themselves at least a little bit to where you can feel comfortable putting them out there on the floor at this point?
Yeah, they really have. Actually, two of our freshman guards, Deja Chase and Chelsea Toole, have looked good the entire preseason and have played pretty well. We've had 2 intra-squad scrimmages and like what we have seen from them. Now, again, they are freshmen, so you're not quite sure what you're going to get, when the lights come on in the regular season game. But and actually, even another freshman, a walk-on post player by the name of Danny Anderson, has certainly shown a lot of promise as well. In terms of returning players, Sharnice Brooks, of course, a senior post player who has had her moments, over her career, and certainly a talented player and somebody that we are expecting to be hopefully, double-figure scorer and maybe like a 12 points, 7 or 8 rebounds a game type player. I think she's certainly capable of that. Alicia Hunter, a junior, another returning post player, has looked good as well. And I think, those two, Alicia and Sharnice, are certainly going to have to be a big part of what we do offensively. And I'm a big fan of having a post presence, and they're going to need to give us that. And then another senior Alicia Coulter. She was more of a wing this past year, but this year she might be playing a little bit at the wing and kind of a stretch 4, even though she's a little undersized, but she's done some good things as well.
Coach, you mentioned this is your first year there in Monroe with that particular program, but you have previous head coaching experience. How much does that previous experience help you right now as you're attempting to navigate through your first season, not only with that program, but also in this league with the current makeup?
Well, I think it helps a lot, obviously, having been a head coach and the different challenges and responsibilities that come with that. I think, first and foremost, when you're taking over a program, you've got to implement, the things that you believe in. And, this first year, as much as anything else, is just trying to change the culture around, the women's basketball program, both on the floor and off the floor, and just trying to lay a foundation for what we'd like our program to be all about in future years. And, the thing that I periodically have to remind the players is, you can't get too caught up in wins and losses and that kind of thing, and you really have to focus, more on just the process of getting better every day. And like I said earlier, I have been encouraged by what we've seen of late, especially, and just, like I said, getting a little bit better on both ends of the floor and certainly seeing some individual improvement. We spent a lot of time on just things like playing together, and being unselfish and playing together as a team. I think we've made improvements there. I'll admit that I'm not necessarily terribly familiar with the Sun Belt Conference. I did watch a number of games through a video editing service, prior to my interview with ULM, so I did see a number of the different teams. Now, again, obviously the personnel has probably changed as well, but thus far, all of my energy and focus, as you could probably understand, has been spent entirely on ULM and what we're doing here in the preseason.
Okay, Coach, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Our next questions come from Jared Prescott with the Sunbelt Digital Network. Jared, please go ahead.
Hey, Coach, with such a short turnaround, how have you been able to, and no returners, have you been able to recruit newcomers looking for selling the opportunity that they'll have an opportunity to play with so many people leaving?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as I mentioned earlier, obviously not getting hired until the spring, I feel like we were still able to get some good players into the program. And as I mentioned, Deja Chase actually had originally signed with Louisiana Tech. She requested to be released from her national letter of intent, and she's actually from Monroe and joined us very late in the spring. And just a few weeks before that, Chelsea Toole, a guard from Southwood High School in Shreveport, signed with us as well. So that is certainly going to help. I think that was one of the things that they saw, of course, that especially in the perimeter, it wasn't a situation where there was 2 or 3 returning starters or people that were getting big minutes, and so I'm sure they saw that the opportunity was there, for them to come in and play right away. And that's, again, especially in the guard spot, that's going to be a challenge because there's not a single returning guard on our roster that played 10 minutes a game, last year, and actually there's not a single returning guard that even averaged 4 points a game. So certainly those that are returners are going to have to step up their game, and again, I know from having several conversations with the returning both guards and posts, I think they're eager to get more minutes and see what kind of show what they can do. But it was certainly a late start with the recruiting, but I do feel like we were able to add a couple of key players. Even Andrea Davis, a junior college point guard, I think is certainly going to give us some minutes as well. And again, an added bonus was, like I said, having a walk-on like Danny Anderson join us as well.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate that, and thank you, Coach Dow. Appreciate your time today. And again, I forgot to say, welcome to the Sun Belt Conference, and best of luck this year.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Randy.